Thank you so much, Dolores. Thank you. Et maintenant, j'aimerais vous présenter encore un Suisse, le président d'un mouvement citoyen suisse-alémanique qui combat pour la souveraineté de la Suisse. Entre nous, on l'appelle der Mann mit den langen Haaren und der Zigarre. Ah, je crois que tout le monde l'a reconnu. C'est le président de Massvoll, Nicolas Rimoldi.
Merci Michel, merci. Hello freedom fighters for all over the world. Welcome to Switzerland. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for fighting against the dying of the light, because we do not go gentle into that good night. We fight for freedom for the sake of humanity. Because we all know stopping the pandemic treaty and all these treaties who are robbing our sovereignty, our fundamental rights, is not enough. Leaving all these globalist organizations is not enough. We have to destroy them once and for all. We are standing here at the turning of the tide. In these times, in these hours, we have to decide if we and our children will live a free life, or they're going to be slaves of the globalist system. But I know from deepest of my heart that we will win and the globalist agenda will fail. The Swiss movement Massvoll was the first organization worldwide who stood up against the WHO pandemic treaty in February 22. And we are still standing, you all are still standing, and that is our greatest success. And I thank you for fighting all these years to come, that we live in a free world, and I believe in all of you, and I say thank you to all of you to fight together for a world worth living. Thank you so much. Freedom, liberty! Liberté! 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 Thank you!
Okay, so our next speaker told me that he's here to fight the man because the man won't fight himself. Brett Weinstein is an evolutionary biologist, co-author of the best-selling book, A Hunter-Gatherer's Guide to the 21st Century, co-host of the Dark Horse podcast and fellow at the Brownstone Institute. Please give a warm welcome to Brett Weinstein.
Ladies and gentlemen, citizens of the world, we are under attack. The principles of national sovereignty, personal liberty, and the consent of the governed have been slated for destruction by a tiny global elite that desperately wants to rule us. They aim to dictate what we are allowed to do, to say, and to think, to control where and when we may travel, what drugs and injections we must take, what doubts we are allowed to harbor. They want the ability to shut down discussion and to close down the channels we use to challenge the veracity of their narratives and the legitimacy of their power. In short, they are angry that we successfully pulled back the curtain during the COVID era, and they are itching for a rematch. They are working overtime at the World Health Organization to rewrite all the rules so that next time they can win. That is the true meaning of these negotiations over what they falsely call pandemic preparedness. They are seeking an unprecedented level of control. They must fail, and they will. This international cabal finds our belief in liberty irritating, and it finds our insistence on informed consent laughable. So it has targeted our national sovereignty from above. Our nations are to be subordinated to an opaque international superorder with veto power over our rights and our liberties as citizens. We are to be controlled by a mechanism placed out of reach of any check or balance we might hope to employ. We are told that these authoritarian measures are being crafted to protect the public's health and to keep us safe from a pandemic that we are assured is always ready to leap from wild animals into people. It's not a matter of if, Tedros assures us, it's a matter of when. But nothing could be further from the truth. Nature is full of unknown viruses. That much is not a lie. But the ability of novel pathogens to jump the evolutionary gap and suddenly trigger a global human pandemic is very small. Or at least it would be small, if not for the massive network of laboratories currently working to weaponize natural pathogens using gain-of-function technologies. These labs are part of an undeclared Cold War of which the citizens of the world are barely aware. The damage done to the world over the last 4 years should make the danger of enhancing human pathogens obvious. The fact that our leaders refuse to discuss the weapons research that produced the COVID catastrophe is powerful evidence of how cynical those leaders have become. If the international community was serious about protecting people from infectious disease, instead of planning to lock down, censor, and inoculate the world, it would focus on two things. First, it would focus on basic measures to increase innate resistance to disease, like improving food quality and reducing vitamin D deficiency. Second, it would focus on shutting down the labs that weaponize pathogens and place us all in jeopardy of laboratory leaks. When we began to spread the word about the WHO's obscene power grab, the Director General released a statement. He said the unprecedented concentration of power under consideration at the WHO was not a breach of the sovereignty of our nations. He called that misinformation, because, he argued, our democratic governance would be working on our behalf to hand veto power over our rights and liberties to the Director General. The absurdity of this is obvious. Our governments are captured by the same private interests that finance the WHO. Our only remaining influence over this well-sealed system of profiteers is to deliver our response in the streets, which is why, Mr. Director, I have traveled thousands of miles to give you your answer. We, the informed citizens of the world, do not consent, and we will not comply.